Alright, what's going on, guys? So we're doing a little bit of a bonus thing. So at the end of the session that we just did, we have Amber and Gabe here who had sort of pulled me aside. We had a conversation since the rest of our characters, Gob, Howl, and Ryo, are going to be sleeping in the manor for the rest of the evening. These two, Elimae and the Good Doctor, wanted to go ahead and accomplish some extra things. So instead of role-playing for the next portion of the session, we're going to do like a bonus thing. So we're going to do an extended director's uncut, if you will. Last we spoke just an hour ago. Elimae, you had just you've taken a risk to allow Urktarl, the just recently discovered vampire, to bring you to his side of the table, to give you new powers and gave you all these promises. You had willingly given yourself up and sort of just faded. The Good Doctor, you're in like the common area, correct?
Yeah, he's in the where the 4 statues are, so I think that's away from everyone. I don't know if that's the common area.
There's still, so as of right now,
he's trying to be as secluded because he's got zombies around.
That's where the majority of the Urktarl and like people were before Herrera got removed.
All right.
So now they're kind of pushing up north as much as they can. You see that as time has gone on and you guys have continually left and came back, there's more of a relaxed sort of tone. They're not so quick to like latch that door shut and lock it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're more up in that Herrera kind of throne room office area now. They're a little bit spread out. So we were in the once main room, but it's kind of just you.
Yeah.
You know, every once in a while you'll see somebody, but yeah.
I think the Good Doctor is gonna, when he's got some time to himself, he's really gonna start hypothesizing about just like about what he's kind of figured out from the golem and like what the magical mechanics.
Oh, we're recording them both, right? Yep. Okay. And the microphone's on and everything?
Yep.
Alright, cool. Thanks.
It's literally all to just press start.
I got you.
Yeah, just like the magical mechanics, and also, I don't know, I think he's gonna rack his brain for whatever he made a deal with is, just based on what he's seen in his dreams and how more vivid they're gonna be becoming. So, do you want me to roll for any of that, or?
You're trying to figure out what you made a deal with?
Just hypothesizing. I guess I'm not looking for anything specific, but just narrowing down based on what I know.
I mean, as you're thinking about this, the thing that does come to the forefront of your mind is that book that you have.
The brown book. I'm gonna see if any new pages have popped up.
Okay.
Right. Do I roll anything?
So, you open up the book. It doesn't seem like anything is new, but how it is written is new. It is. There's almost a shaky anger to the way that these sentences are like written on the page, and as you open it up, you do start to hear those like whispers, more pronounced.
Not with the book wasn't whispering before, but these are the same whispers he heard when he was. I think the Good Doctor's gonna kind of focus in on that, like really. Like, try to parse out what they're saying or what they're trying to guide him to. Fucking love it.
This is the happy part.
Roll a d100.
Whoo! Oh, you were writing down the number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna have another. I'll use a magic set.
May I have another?
32.
You're not getting anything yet.
Not anything yet? Okay. So the whispers just kind of disappeared?
They don't disappear. They're just, nothing is sticking out. It's just, you know, again, you're opening up a physical book and it is connecting to you somehow. That's
Okay.
extremely unusual.
The good doctor's gonna just spend time then while he waits, just
Okay.
studying that.
So as you're studying the book, you hear the opening and closing of the door, and then eventually you hear, as you see walking kind of along the wall, Urktal, who kind of looks over you and is like, "Want to help you with something?"
Of course, I'd be more than obliged.
Okay. And goes up through the throne room and goes into that chamber and looks at you and goes, "I'm getting more comfortable working with you guys.
Of course.
I want to go ahead and start looking around with you." And you see like two men kind of look up and like, they're protected. So let's go ahead. I want to see what you guys have done so far.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of lead him through like what we've explored and everything. Like,
So the two doors in the back, he looks at the door to the left, and that is the door that you guys had originally entered in to deal with, like, there was like 6 of them playing poker, if you recall.
Yeah.
So he goes, "Is this room cleared out?" And then 2 other guys are like, "Oh yeah, no, we're in there." Okay. So we'll go out the main hallway door. So he goes out the main door and he goes, "Have we done left?"
we have not yet.
Whole other side of the room that we have done. Okay. Alright. Not a great start, but let's go snoop around. Alright. So as he starts walking up the hallway to the right, seems to be kind of an opening.
Okay. And is this all new territory?
This is all new territory from what you've seen, yeah. So there's the very long hallway, and then there is it sort of takes a quick right and left, and then there's a maybe 40-50 foot long hallway.
Okay.
Sort of identical. You see that there are 6 pillars that are lining in the center of the path instead of the statues on the sides. They're decorative, and you see that they have several tiny indentations around them. There's also several rectangular marks along the walls with like chiseled stone near them. There's an alcove to the north, and you can see that it has like a pile of rusty equipment that was discarded, maybe for upgrades, or that was the last resting place of where they were. He's gonna start walking up that path.
I'm
right.
gonna stop him.
Hmm?
Like, this is unexplored territory.
I made your
Of course.
men first. I got you.
I let in order of the second hell, so like weakest up front.
Fair enough. All right, so they walk up about 30 feet, and it is thick cobweb continuing on.
Okay. Have them clear a path for us.
Okay, how do you want them to do that?
They have clubs. We're just gonna-
Just push through? Okay. So as you push through, clearing out the cobwebs, and I mean, yes, they're sort of clearing a path, but it's still like they're floating and, you know, it's a nuisance. But you push your way through and you eventually come to what seems to be a human body lying on the floor, and you see that it's been so far gone that there are like small insects and maggots that are making their way through this cadaver.
Okay, so it's just a rotten corpse?
Completely, yeah.
Oh, you said this is where the rest of the equipment is?
No, that was in that main room there.
Is this dressed up in any way, or?
It doesn't look like an Undertaker, if that's what you're asking.
If it's wearing any armor or?
Yes, it does look like an adventurer. You okay?
Yeah, she's just being ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a normal adventurer. You see that they have a scimitar, you see that they have a light crossbow, and what seems to be a small pouch that's tied to the left side.
I'm gonna grab the pouch.
Okay. So you pull up the pouch, and it looks like a normal like coin pouch, but there's nothing in it. But it is a new home for maggots and grubworms and things like that, but nothing inside.
Okay. The good doctor still has his chest in there. Oh, he needs a new body though. Good doctor puts down his hole and pushes that body in there.
You can use that?
Hmm?
You can use that.
Of course, if it's a body, then it's usable.
Talk to me about how you seem different than like others. Like it seems like you were using some sort of knowledge. You're not asking for these gifts, right?
No, I
Are
studied
you connected to anything?
the Shadowfell, mostly, but that's more of a birthplace thing. Think of how a fairy belongs in the Feywild.
Right.
Same sort of thing. But it offers
I know a great deal about the Shadowfell, but being able to resurrect is not part of the Shadowfell.
No.
As in fact, it's
quite the opposite.
quite the opposite. It is very much not allowed.
Yes, unfortunately.
So you are not a follower of the Raven Queen.
No, most certainly not.
Weird.
Yes.
Very unusual.
Extremely. I'm aware of the oddity of my nature, but
And thus the cover-up. Something happened.
yes, I briefly touched on
you
that.
briefly touched on. Now I'm connecting things.
When I was a novice, I managed to cast a very powerful spell, but without the necessary resources. I managed to do it at a cost.
But you got out.
Yes,
Are you still there?
maybe. I'm unsure. I take things to be rather safe. I'm not sure if I were to be unconscious if I would stay here.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what gave? So you left. Then what gave you the ability to be able to do this? Like, where did you learn this?
Throughout my travels, I performed medicine mostly. You learn a great deal about where to begin with. Studying the
You
dead.
open up this book every once in a while. What is that book? Is that a?
He thinks for a moment. He goes, "I'm not sure. I was stuck somewhere and I found it."
Do you mind if I look at it?
Of course. I give it to him.
Okay. So he looks at this book and this is very interesting. And he hands it back to you.
Yes, it's
You don't know what this is.
no. It's. I've encountered things more.
How tied are you to this?
Very.
I assume so.
Yes.
I think you and I are alike in some ways.
Quite possibly. I do believe we both wish for lofty goals.
This is much deeper than lofty goals. This is purpose.
Yes.
Let's continue on.
Of course.
So you go back into the main hallway and head down. Seems to be a pretty windy hallway.
Yeah.
There's a couple of left and right turns, but you know that you're always going straight.
Yeah.
It's just kind of zigzag. And, come up to a singular hallway door. Not unlike the first door that you had interacted with where, you had met the dungeon, the Mad Mage.
Mm-hmm.
This door does have a plaque on it though. It's engraved and it says contestants in this sort of very fancy sort of script. And he kind of looks at you and goes,
The doctor kind of sighs and goes, "Are you already aware of the Mad Mage? Have you met?"
I've heard things. I've not.
He believes all of us are contestants on a sort of game show. I do believe this door will lead to his interviews.
Open it up.
The good doctor nods. He goes, "He's rather eccentric, be warned." And the good doctor opens the door.
Okay. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
That's a 10.
Okay. So as you open up the closet, you're immediately wide-eyed as you see a floor-to-ceiling pile of bones come cascading out of the room where you have to jump out of the way. As the bones sort of like fill into that entranceway into the hallway or to the closet, you see that some of the skulls and bones are scorched or nicked, some are covered in rotting flesh, and then you do see like a sort of frayed banner in the closet that sort of almost mockingly dangles as it says, "Welcome guests."
Good doctor puts his hands together.
You're gonna collect all these, aren't you?
And he goes, oh, without a doubt. Do you understand how much useful this is? Oh, zombies have their uses, but skeletons, oh, much more wonderful. And good, how much can I fit in?
You could fill it if you wanted to.
Well, how much would that give me?
So what is the cubic feet of the...
I think it's 10 by 10, isn't it?
10.
So 100?
Let me look up. It's called Portable Hole, right?
Portable hole, yeah.
Yeah, let's double. It might be
I think it's more.
bigger than 10 feet.
No, because we were talking about putting Mobrick in there, and he was like, basically.
That's
like,
the bag of holding.
Oh,
That was
okay.
the bag of holding. Didn't mean to mansplain that. I was mid-goal.
6 feet wide, 10 feet deep.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like add like a dozen.
Oh yeah.
I'd be generous.
Sweet.
Mhm.
This solved so many problems.
Continue on.
Of course, sir.
Alright. You letting your help go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys continue on down the hallway and take a right and go down maybe about 70 feet and it actually hooks around and the hallway ends.
Let's take an investigation check. Intelligence. 30-20.
Okay. You're starting to get a familiar pattern of grout, and you do see that the as you hook around the hallway, the portion that is just sort of ending seems to be some sort of pathway.
Let my zombie open it up.
Okay, so you start to push on the wall, and it slides forward.
Wonderful. Alright.
Urtar kind of gives you a look of, they do come in handy.
Oh, greatly. There have been many times we have opened a door and it has exploded, shot things, or vomited acid.
So you open up a door to a small, dark room, again draped in cobwebs. As you start to, are you making your way in?
Let the zombies go first.
Okay, as they start going in, as they start working in, they kind of get to a point where they just stop and look at you.
Alright, go through.
Against the back wall, you see that atop of what seems to be a marble riser stands this like it's like a slender throne, and it's green, but in that like oxidized copper
Yeah.
green. You also see in the middle of the floor that sort of like on its side is the kind of matching material oxidized copper helm with some sort of visor on it.
Good doctor's gonna take a peek at it.
Okay.
Is investigation or
What are you trying to
arcana check?
What are you trying to do?
Trying to, without touching it, like trying to look at it, see for any markings, enchantments.
Okay. And what was the number that you had?
14 plus 8 regardless of 22.
22. Okay. Don't see any markings on it. They look normal.
These goggles of identification. Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure it was the goggles.
Must see if it's one use a day. I don't know if that was. Oh no, I don't know. I don't remember what the item's called.
And let me see if I have it.
Identify goggles. That's why I
That's
wrote.
right.
See, I found one, but it's on D&D Wiki, so I don't know if it's homebrewed.
Goggles of object reading?
Yeah, that's what it is.
It is?
Cast identify once per dawn.
Oh,
So you've
damn.
already used it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's why I was checking it out. I'm gonna have a zombie with 1 health pick it up.
Okay.
Anything happen?
Nope.
No. I'm gonna put it in the bag of holding.
Okay.
Alright.
You do get an advantage on Arcana checks though, if you wear the goggles.
Fun fact. Daniel looked it up just to make sure to see if there's any loopholes that he didn't have to go through trying to kill the party. Elimae does not care if you're undead.
Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. It's really just, are you a bad person? If yes, die.
Which doesn't exempt you
Make-
anyway.
yeah.
Insanely evil are the words that they
But even then, that sounds kind of shitty aside from that, because it's like, how do you're gonna tell me if I'm bad?
Welcome to gods. Like, they're very, it's all subjective.
I don't like you, now you're dead.
So, Char watches you put the helm in your bag. What's that?
Unsure. My mask lets me identify magic items. Unfortunately, I've already used it today. The chest contained a beating heart. A tiefling heart, to be exact.
Beating.
Beating.
Is it a lie?
Yes. Should I consume it, it may confer benefits.
This is what you used your goggles on?
Yes.
How often can you do that?
Once a day.
It comes in handy.
Yes, to make sure the party doesn't inevitably kill themselves with picking up items. It's already almost happened once.
You plan on consuming this?
The heart, yes. Unfortunately, my dealings with the Raven Queen have removed a lot of my abilities. I'm hoping to gain something back. I've heard of the tiefling's ability to almost explode on contact. So, hoping.
What about this throne?
Unsure. Take an investigation check.
Sure.
That's an that one.
Nothing seems remarkable about it.
I'm unsure.
Well, I'm more interested in making sure these rooms are safe. I can always come back to see.
Once per day, I may look at something. Keep an eye on it. I can always come back tomorrow and take another check.
Sure. I have, in my experience, nothing is.
As it seems.
They like to fuck with us here.
I've learned
Whoever they are. Alright.
that. I would recommend that no one touch this door to be safe.
Gotcha.
Right.
Speaking of throne, have you guys picked out a room yet?
There's a room that in the wing that we've explored. It was the lair of a basilisk. Unfortunately, it's close to where we had seen the hag, so I must discuss it with the party. But that seems to offer the most space for all of us.
Okay. Let's keep going.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go now to the right.
Okay.
Okay. I need to look something up. Hold on one second.
Daniel says torturing is the only real no-go.
Well, I've never tortured anybody, so I usually kill him pretty quickly if I'm gonna kill him. I've never tortured anybody.
Good doctor has.
Elimae hasn't.
Yeah, you just kill people.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
God says this is bad. I'm gonna kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Dio?
Okay.
Was the brown book something you made? Or was that already in the campaign?
This is something that I made.
Thank God, because there's a lich on the back with a brown book in his hand. I just saw that and I was like, huh.
Okay, so you head down the main hallway, take a right, and go to the closet where the 5 undertakers had been. Open up the closet, It just looks like a normal closet.
Yep. Was this the one we saw a lot of magic in?
Yes, but
Would be warned. For the most part, this room looks like it's safe, but we detected a shocking amount of illusionary magic. Elimae can see magic quite well, and it,
okay.
based on my knowledge of the subject, which admittedly is little, this strong of illusion would require a specific command or object to break. Otherwise, it's without the higher levels of magic, I cannot remove it. So just be wary of this room. We walked in and we messed with objects, and it all appears to be physical, but just be aware that it's not what it seems.
Any solutions to this?
Well, not without whoever made the magic. It's beyond my capabilities.
You haven't seen anything thus far?
No.
Okay. Go back up the hallway, go into the room that you had found the treasure chest initially. And the acid is gone.
I would recommend not entering. I'm unsure if the trap is still active. But this is where we found the chest. It was in that statue's arms. Once we removed the chest, the ceiling poured acid.
Okay. He looks up and there's nothing there.
The trap may be removed, but be wary, this is where this trap is located. It was tripped, so it could be over. If anything, we can send some of my help in to see if it triggers anything.
Sure.
I send my one help zombie, and I tell him to start just tip-tapping all over the statue.
Alright.
Touching everything.
Starts tip-tapping along the statue, walking around the room. Doesn't seem like anything's there.
It appears that it's a new room under your domain.
I want to see what the statue is. He starts walking around. And as you walk around, you see that the statue resembles the same kind of creature. You as a player were not there, but your character was. In the beginning of the dungeon, there was a room that there was a statue of an 8-foot, like almost like a sea creature that had like fins and gills. It had 4 arms, and that is where the black. Sorry, no, it was actually a psionic ooze was located. This was the first creature that they had fought down here. But holding out the 2 hands for the chest, you see these like massively sharp razor teeth. This does not look like the like petrified from before. This is just a normal statue. Why it's here, why it's holding that box, who knows? But as you do start to walk to the back of the room, you do notice doesn't seem to be like it was intentionally hidden, but there most certainly is a portion of wall that is cut.
Oh, we have not had a chance to explore this room. Unfortunately, acid was falling on us, so we had to leave rather quickly.
I gotcha.
We can continue forward or go back to show you what we've explored so far.
I'm always curious.
The good doctor has one of the zombies try to open it.
Okay, so the zombie pushes open the stone.
An arrow flies out.
And
Seven.
it's a little. You might have to actually use 2 zombies to just sort of by strength push them through.
I used the 2 lowest health zombies.
Fine. All right. So
Which
as
is
they
4 and 1.
as they push open the portion of the stone actually goes flush with the wall. You see this very long hallway, and it's lit by many candles, and it's so weird to see because the stone turns into this nice velvet carpet that goes down this long hallway, and you see these really decorative plaster walls with like fine work trimming around multiple doors that are open. These doorways. It's well lit. You hear music. You smell food. And you see people sticking their heads out of multiple door openings, looking at you. Some of them holding wine, some are holding food, some are very attractive women, and they're all looking at you like extremely curious and just very shocked to see somebody at the end of this hallway.
I have zombies that are barely old. Like, these are not pretty zombies.
Nothing. Nope.
I would advise we do not enter this room. I do not believe these are real people. With all
And
due-
he's like just looking at this hallway, like just trying to piece this all together.
I have several, and he gestures to the zombies covered in acid damage. I do believe if any sane person saw this, they would run away.
And he's just like looking at you. And there's a person like 3 doors down, this guy who's dressed in like this really nice like red, almost like a suit tux. And like looks in the doorway and reaches his hand in and comes out, and he's got a couple goblets in his hand and looks at you and starts walking down the hallway and is like, I don't know how the hell you got in here, but come on in. I mean, some sort of secret door.
Roll an Arcana check. That's cocked. That's not gonna do it. That's a 13.
Nothing seems abnormal.
Good doctor is going to.
Can't. It's flush against the wall.
Good doctor is going to back up. What is Charles doing?
Or Charles kind of backing up with you. So as you guys start backing up, he goes, where are you going? And the guy starts charging at you, and you watch as these massive wings take off from him, and his face starts elongating, and he turns into like this almost gargoyle. And as he hits that like threshold of where the door is, it vanishes, and you hear this like cynical like. And our Charles looks at you and goes, is that the Mad Mage?
That would be the Mad Mage, yes.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, 100%, yes. Good. Shall we continue?
Yes.
Wonderful. Alright. We've shown the rest that we've explored.
Okay. So you go through the room that the Herrera's men were stationed.
Yep.
Where you guys had slept that night. You guys took him through the manticores.
Mm-hmm.
That entire.
All those bodies are still there.
Mhm.
Yep.
You then open up the door where the basilisk is located
Mhm.
and start taking him through this room. And he goes, "This is the room you're talking about."
What is the statues?
Yes.
Yes. Provides more than enough adequate space for me and my
It's
allies.
a very large room.
Would that be a problem?
Nope. You guys have more than earned it.
Oh, well, I'm very happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Hope we can continue earning things for you.
He starts walking through and he's like, okay, these aren't people. The statues. More statues.
What are they?
I don't know. More. You've checked for traps and all that?
We did a pretty thorough investigation of this place. We couldn't find anything.
Okay.
No magic, no traps.
I'm impressed with the amount of deceased that I've seen along this trip.
Okay, Gabe doesn't know what that means.
That's true.
Huh?
Deceased?
Yes. Oh,
Dead.
Dead. Deceased. Oh, okay. I thought you said like deceased, and I
Oh,
was like,
deceased.
you fucking like lost me.
Gabe
Deceased.
doesn't know what that means.
That's gonna be a timestamp.
There's been a lot that we've had to fight through. The basilisk, thankfully, we didn't. What came out of that, we did. That was rather violent. The manticores got impatient, and the troll was just there. If it weren't for Gobsino riding one into the ground, it would have been a much more difficult fight. The goblin is small, but I reiterate, he grabbed a manticore and rode it off the tower and killed it by crushing it into the ground.
It's curious to see how long I've dealt with these types of creatures to see somebody, two people in fact, yourself included, become rebels for what is so ingrained in your fiber of what you're supposed to be. It's almost hopeful.
I would hope so.
That's the thing about survival, is that it's It's not the pretty heroic stories that we're all told as children. Survival is a very cutthroat, compromising, dark path. Shameful at moments.
There's been many a patient that slipped my grasp.
But you learn. And you give that to the next patient.
Or maybe the good doctor let it happen. Sometimes you need a body and you need it quickly. You have to do what you need to survive.
There's like this look of like respect that crawls across his face. Continue on.
Yep.
Alright. And goes up to the massive double doors on the right side of the chamber.
We have not gone through this.
Correct.
Unfortunately, we were too injured from our battle with the Manticore, so we couldn't continue past this.
Safe to go through.
I will
Shall we assume?
The hands were wandering this area. We would best be safe. This is
for now.
We had lost track of them in this room. We're not sure what the relationship with the Manticores were, but this is where we lost them.
A lot of progress made. I'm happy to see that. We can at least start pushing towards the left side and start filling up that area.
Of course.
Maybe even start taking over where we saw the acid and the. It seems that the Herrera's men had actually already set up a station for us. I did see, maybe not the greatest, but there is food in there. So.
It's also many choke points and places. Lots of long hallways that can be covered.
Pretty good.
Very defensible positions if you require any assistance.
Always, yeah.
Wonderful. Alright, and we start heading back.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're talking back, I'm like, what happened with Elimae? She's been gone for quite a bit.
Elimae has always been curious, as I'm sure you know. Just the same as you've always been curious. And I know you like to study.
Yes.
So, Elimae and I made a deal. I don't know about the full history of this mask character, and he pulls out the silk mask that you're very familiar with.
The doctor slows down, but he's still trying to keep pace a little bit. He's like, okay.
Nothing is. She's fine. She's sleeping. She is gonna wake up different.
That is fine. I have a proposition. I understand you have problems with curiosity. So, we'll keep a separate journal and trust it with you. You may look over all my notes, see whatever I'm writing, and should I pass, the notebook stays with you. But an ally of mine who would be open to study for purely my own sake. There are certain magics when it comes to my field that are not quite been explored. Vampirism may be the first step to understanding some of this.
That's the thing. I don't want you to understand. Your memory alone can be seen as a risk. You are allowed to observe and memorize as much as you can. When I first brought you in, understand that you are in my home. I have made that very clear. There is to be no writings. I will see that as a betrayal.
Of course. And to have complete transparency, you are more than welcome to look through any of my notes, and I understand that you may be curious on the field of necromancy.
I am curious, yes.
As a thank you for helping us stay, I'd be more than welcome to share any notes. If you were to give insights onto where I may improve based on your understanding of yourself. Would this be acceptable? We would be pooling knowledge to further our own benefits. You don't have to, you are welcome to choose.
Here's the thing about knowledge. While you are gifted, it seems, and while you are curious. And curiosity is a powerful instrument if used correctly. Be wary of the knowledge that you're spreading. Knowledge is what has given you the upper hand thus far. To just give that out freely is insane.
I think the good doctor kind of like finally pieces it together and is like, I understand. Still, you may not have to give anything, but I am more than happy to teach. And I will.
But why? You want to be the undead king.
I've never. And he kind of stops. I wish to build a place where we may all study. That is all. A safe place.
You are crossing some dangerous wires, my friend.
There are wires that must be crossed for progress.
You are but merely a pawn in this whole game.
Even a pawn can become a queen.
It takes getting to the end of the board.
I intend to make it.
I want to help.
More than happy to accept anything. Should this come to fruition as I would hope, and should I create a safe place, I'd be more than willing to share that territory with you. Should you have it. Perhaps if
It's just very it's very against the Raven Queen.
I've always
As you know, the Raven Queen has an unsurmountable amount of knowledge. The memories of the dead
it's not
that
as,
she keeps locked.
and it's that keeping of knowledge.
You want to spread it.
Yes. For those who are willing. I am more than happy to teach whoever will have this.
From one friend to another, it seems that we are. I will try to stop you. I do not agree with this philosophy. While I think the obtaining of knowledge is of the utmost, spreading it is dangerous. Those who don't know should not. Those who can't know shouldn't.
I pray that our paths never have to cross in such a manner.
Mine too, but it is important that we both know.
For the time being, I am happy to call you friend.
You.
And nods and keep walking.
What would you like the rest of your evening to look like?
He's gonna go back to his book.
Okay.
He'll take a long rest. And he'll wait for Ember to get up, or Elimae.
Okay. Alright, so we ended there?
Do we want to talk? Did Elimae and Good Doctor want to chat, or do we want to end it there?
I don't know where Elimae is.
Incapacitated.
Oh yeah, that would be your long rest. Alright. Yeah, we can end it there.
Okay.
Sweet. It was fucking wild.
It was a lot.
The glimmerings of something has begun!
Alright guys, for the second time this evening, thank you so much for watching.